He's going to have to see Justify, a horse that's that's moved forward every start of his life so far. We probably have to see him finally take a slight regression, make up that amount of distance between the two. And it's a horse race; it can happen. It's hard for horses to keep moving forward, and we have our own tall order to overcome. This is our third race in 6 weeks, and I'm optimistic this horse can move forward again, but I'm realistic that it's a lot to ask of him. Mm-hmm. But we're going to try.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in terms of the calculus, you just never felt particularly good about waiting for Belmont, and so is that basically what it came down to, or?
It's a factor. Yeah, this horse I don't see a scenario where this horse runs in the Belmont at all. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't strike me as a 1.5 mile horse, and win or lose tomorrow, this horse won't be running the Belmont.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, the weather, obviously he ran extremely well over a tough track in Kentucky, so does that become less of a concern?
It becomes less of a concern that our horse will handle the track. I'm confident he will. But I think it's a push for both horses, because Justify has shown he can clearly handle a wet track well. So I don't think it hurts or helps this particular matchup. There needs to be other factors involved to make up the margin between the two from the Derby.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with Justify, you mentioned that it's extremely hard for a horse to keep taking steps forward. I mean, if he were to take another step forward or even hold his level, would that say this really is an exceptional horse? This is one we'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, I don't, if he improves off his Derby race, he's going to be very difficult to beat. We understand that, and he's obviously an outstanding racehorse with an outstanding trainer. So, it's a lot to overcome. But like I said, it's a horse race. So we have a horse that's sound and doing well, and we're going to try him again and hope that we can make up the difference.
In terms of the shape of the race, would you envision something fairly similar, where you would probably try to stalk him and then make a move?
I think so. The way the draw shook out, Justify drew very well outside, so he's away from everyone and doesn't have any pressure on him, it looks like. So, we're just going to have to hopefully get a clean break and save some ground and not let him get too far away.
I mean, you've won a lot of big races, but you did win your first Triple Crown race here last year. Does this place have some happy echoes for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was just an incredible race last year, a very special moment for me and my team to have our first Triple Crown win here at Pimlico. A track that we've always liked coming to race our horses, but to have success in the Preakness is really the ultimate experience here in Baltimore, and I'm eager to get back in that infield again if we can.
You exuded extreme confidence before the Derby. The horse was sitting on a big performance.
Yeah.
Do you have that same sense of extreme confidence he's sitting on another big performance?
I do. I'm very confident, the way the horse has been training and feeling that the horse is sitting on another big one.
You're an analytical guy. Put in perspective the closing times of the Kentucky Derby, where they came on last quarter in 26 and change, the last half in 53 and change.
Yeah, well, the horses did so much running up front, particularly Justify, going so fast, and we weren't far away. We attended the pace really behind him. So for these two horses to still be there late when any other horses that were around that pace early weren't, it goes to show you how well they ran. I don't put too much into the last part of the race time-wise, because it was a demanding racetrack with demanding fractions early for a 1.25 mile dirt race. So I don't think that the last quarter mile time tells the tale of how well these two horses ran.
And what does it say about horses that were trying to close and could not make up particularly ground off of those fractions?
Well, the horse that finished third and nearly beat us for second there ran very well, Audible, but had a strong pace to run into. Other horses, some other horses closing, it looked like, but they just were coming too late. So I don't know what to really make of that. I didn't go through every starter to see who fired and who didn't. I know that these two horses fired and were, I thought, clearly ran the best race. These two ran by far the best race in the Derby, having gone that fast early and were still around late.
What is this horse's best attribute?
His mind, for sure. This horse is so reserved. He's so smart. he's always handled stuff like a horse that's has a ton of experience. Even going into his first start, his first breeze for us, he's always acted like a professional, like he was always ahead of his class. And as the horse has gotten older, you know, he's continued to improve, and he's just always been, you know, ultimate professional to deal with.
He knows how to use himself, not waste energy. And
Yes, he definitely. This horse, he saves everything he has for when he's out there on the racetrack. And he's a very focused horse. When you put him into a situation in a race or a breeze, he goes into it knowing exactly what he needs to do, and he does it.
And it
Yeah,
seems
he's
like
a horse he's going to show up every time. That I know about this horse. And, you know, I think he's earned a lot of respect from even in defeat in the Derby. That I feel like a lot of people respect this horse now, that he's legit. He's not just a horse that had a lucky day at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup. He's a real top-class classic racehorse. And he's going to have to make up some ground here on a real talented horse in Justify.